Hi, this is Michael Sternberg, and this is a video related to my January 2016 Retro Challenge, which is to port the Star Trek game STTR1 from HP Timeshared Basic to the Mattel Aquarius. And for that effort, I needed to see how the program was meant to run so that I can compare it to my port to see if it's going, if my port is an error in some way. So just a brief background on this game. It was written in 1972 by high school student Mike Mayfield, originally on a Sigma 5 or Sigma 7 computer, and then reported to this HP 2100 series or HP 2000 series. So to run the game, I'm going to telnet to a simulated HP 2000 that's on the internet. So the host name is mickey.publicvm.com. You use telnet. So a brief word about this terminal emulator I'm using. It's called Retrochallenge, and I'm not using it just because it's retro and cool, which it is, but also because that HP simulator spits out some strange end-of-line characters, and it's on some of the other terminal programs I have. These would be misinterpreted as Unicode and causes garbage to appear on the screen. So Retrochallenge didn't have that problem. Also, much simpler is Xterm. Didn't have that problem, but I'm going to use it just because it's fun. So to get to a login prompt, I need to hold down Control M, Control J. And then to log in, it's this hello command. Hello, comma. Oh, I've already messed up. Hello, comma, T001, comma, HP 2000, comma 1. Oh, still wrong. Hello. If I type in groups, I'll get a list of the programs available in this tape library. Among them is STTR1. And the C next to it means it's a semi-compiled program, and I have to start it in a little bit different way than some of the other programs. So to launch that program, it's execute, comma, star STTR1. To see the instructions, you type in the full word yes. It has to be in uppercase for it to be recognized. Now, this program would have originally been played on a teletype terminal, so everything would be rolling out on a spool of paper. Keep that in mind. So the instructions just flew by. I'm running screen so that on another screen, I have the instructions available. Now I'm going to flip back and forth to refer to these instructions rather than try to scroll up to get it. So here's our goal for the game. We must destroy 15 Klingon vessels in 30 star dates, which are like 30 moves, with 4 star bases. So that's good news. We have 4 star bases to renew our resources from. So we're starting at star date 2400. So presumably around star date 2430, we will the game will end if we haven't, unless we've destroyed 15 Klingons, or we've been destroyed before then. The condition is green because we're in this quadrant that doesn't have any enemies in it. So here's a legend. So these asterisks are stars, and this less than star greater than is the Enterprise. So this is the Enterprise. There are 4 stars in this quadrant. So within this quadrant, I'm at location 8-2, so it's 8 down and 2 over. So it's 1-1 would be the top left corner, and 8-8 would be the bottom right corner. So I'm in one quadrant out of 64 other quadrants. So it's 8 by 8 matrix of quadrants, and I'm currently at quadrant 8-7. So 8 down and 7. So bottom right corner of the galaxy in a way. We have 3,000 energy, and we'll expend that energy and can renew it if we find and visit a starbase. Have 10 photon torpedoes. Again, we can replenish those at a starbase. And our shields are currently 0, which is not good. We need to move that, divert some energy to the shields. So I'll run through these commands very quickly. So command 0 has to do with movement, and we'll give a direction and a velocity. Command 1 is a short range sensor scan, which is essentially this view. Command 2 is a long range scan. So if I did a 2, I'm looking at, so we're here in the center where these 4 stars are. That's what that 4 means. And it's letting us look at what's in the quadrants next to us. So the quadrant above us has 2 stars. The quadrant below us, well, there is no quadrant below us because we're near the bottom of the map. But the quadrant to the left of us has 4 stars also. And the quadrant to the right of us has 8 stars. And it has 1 starbase. If the one to the right of us also had a Klingon, it would be a 1-1-8. Or if there were a Klingon in the quadrant above us, it would be 1-0-2. If there were 2 Klingons, it'd be 2-0-2. So I hope that makes sense. So I have no reason to visit that starbase yet, but that's good to know that there's one nearby. So let's see where we are on the larger map. Well, first, command 3 and 4 has to do with weapons. So 3 is phasers and 4 are photons. Each have their pros and cons. 5 lets us divert energy to the shields. 6 is a damage report. And 7 is really 3 other commands. So 7-0 gives us a larger map, the galactic map. And 7-1 gives us a status report where we are in the game, like how many Klingons are left, etc. 7-2 lets us calculate trajectories when we want to use photons, and we're at weird angles between the enemies. So what did I say? So the one thing we need to do is divert some energy to the shields, because you don't want to be running around with shields at 0. That's bad. So the command is 5, and then I have 3,000 energy, and I'm going to devote 100 to shields, which is, as far as I know, the maximum. So if I do another short range scan, we'll see that my energy is decreased 2,900, and my shields are at 100. So I'm going to go ahead and visit that starbase just so you can see how to renew energy. So I've used 100 for the shield, so we can get back to 3,000. So I'm going to move. So command 0 is move, and I want to move to the right. So that's going to be direction 1. So we're going to be moving this way. And because there's 8 stars in that next, which is really crowded. So I just want to peek. I just want to step into the next quadrant. I don't want to just fly through it, because if you travel through a star, it will damage you, or it could be bad. So I'm going to move at 0, and then direction is 1. And I'm going to say 0.8, which wasn't enough. So I always do that. I'm always 1 off. So 0, direction 1, 0.2. So I've stepped in the next quadrant. If I do a long range scan, I'll see what's nearby. So no Klingons near us. And here's the star base. So like I said, it says 1-8. So here's 1 star base and 8 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need a maneuver to get to the star base. So if I want to move diagonally, 0 and 2 is my direction, and I will say 0.4. 0.4 is my guess. That was close. And then I'm going to go ahead and just move down a little bit. 0, direction 7, 0.3. And you'll see that just because I'm adjacent to the star base, that my energy has been replenished. So I was at 2,900 and now I'm at 3,000. So that's good enough for me. Vacate this this quadrant, but first let me show you the galactic map. So that was 7-0 is the galactic record. Oh. So it's saying computers disabled. And so there's this damage report is option 6. So let's see what's going on there. Any number that's below 0 is inoperable. So I'm not sure if it counted me as colliding to that star when I did that move. I was awfully close to that star, so I don't know if that did it. But I'm going to go ahead and just move a little bit to the right and see if being close to the star base helps me out. Not much. So I guess it doesn't really get repaired while I'm at a star base, just energy and torpedoes. So let's see. Let's move up and get into the next quadrant. So to move north, it'd be direction 3. And I'll just try to move like 0.9. So I'm in the next quadrant. I'll do a long range scan, see what's nearby. So there's Klingons nearby. So there's 1 Klingon and 7 stars in the quadrant northwest of me, if you want to call it that. So I'm going to move this way. I'm going to move to the left on our map. Now it's direction 5. So I'm in this quadrant that has 2 stars. The quadrant with the Klingon vessels is 1 above me. I'll go ahead and do a still have no computer. So I'm going to move north, and that's 3. And I'm going to move 1 warp factor, and that will put me right in that same place, but 1 quadrant above me. So 3, 1. Oh, my shields are dangerously low. I never did power up my shields. That was a mistake. So The command for shields is 5. Oh, I take it back. So I did power up the shields, but then by visiting the starbase, the shields are dropped automatically. So I neglected to put them back, the shields back up after leaving the starbase. So, my options for here are to use phasers or photons. And with a photon, I would need to know the exact direction. And even then, the way it steps through these the directions, the photon torpedo might hit a star and would be a miss. So I'm going to use phasers to try to defeat this vessel. So phasers are 3. And the good thing about phasers is it's always a hit, but you have to define how much energy you want to send to the phasers. So 3, and I'm going to try to hit them hard, 800. So it was pretty much even battle there. So we both still have 80 left. So I'm going to go ahead and reapply energy to the shields and try to hit him again with phasers. So brought him down below 0. His shields went below 0, so he's been destroyed. So no more Klingon. I'm going to update. So one thing about the galactic map is if I looked at the galactic map 7-0, oh, damn you. The galactic map would not reflect that I've destroyed that Klingon unless I've done a long range scan. So in our long range scan, I see that there's another Klingon to the left of us, or northwest of us. So let's see where we are. I'm going to move just a hair up and then to the left and get out of this quadrant. I'll be in this quadrant next. So 0 to move, direction is 3, just a hair, movement is 0.2. And then I'm going to move to the left, one full screen. So 0, 5 is to the left, warp factor 1. It's good our computers are back online because they're above 0. Shields are 82 from our previous battle, so I need to reapply energy there. I'm going to go ahead and do a long range scan. So let me do a galactic map. And you'll see that we start off at 8-7, which is 8 down and 7 over. And this is where we visit the star base. And then this is where I defeated the Klingon. And then I moved to the left, and this is where we are now. This 6 over and 6 down and 6 over. So you see that we're filling out all this other part of the map is unknown, where all these zeros are. But as we're using the long range scan, we're updating this map. And what we have we still have 14 Klingons out there somewhere. So I'm going to move up and try to get into the next quadrant, just to peek in the next quadrant. I'm going to guess a 0.9. So 0, 3.9. And there's the Klingon. Now it's an easy shot, but I want to go ahead and demonstrate using the computer to calculate a trajectory. So the command was 7-2, and that will calculate trajectory. 7-2. And it says the direction is 5. So if it were some funky direction like right here, it might say something like 4.337 or something like that. I don't want to use the calculator, but now I can use the photon torpedo. So the command is 4 for photons. And I have to give it a direction, which the computer told me was 5. So the photon torpedo is tracked as it goes across. And if there were a star between the two of us, the photon torpedo would hit the star and not the Klingon. It would be a miss. So that's where you have to make a choice on whether you're going to try to use a photon or a phaser. Again, so the Klingon's gone. If I look at the galactic map 7-0, and this is where I am right now, 5-6, 5 down. It says I'm at 5-6, which is 5 down and 6 over. This galactic record has not been updated yet because I haven't done a long range scan. So if I do a long range scan 2, this is where I am with the 2 stars. And then when I do a 7-0, now it's been updated. So this is important to keep in mind when you're playing the game. You have to keep this galactic record up to date by performing these long range scans, even if you already know what's happened right there. So I think that's most of the features of this game, is that you would be kind of mowing the lawn and going around and trying to find all the Klingons and also all the star bases, because what I like to do is use the photon torpedoes and then replenish those at the star bases. And although this is a tough game, I've played maybe 20 or 30 games of this. I've only won once. Maybe I suck, but that's the way it is. To get out of the game, it's not clear. It's not self-evident. So maybe on the original terminal there was some sort of break key that you could hit to get out of the game. The best I've found is that I can crash the program by going to the library computer and calculate a trajectory. Here it's asking for a yes, no, but if I type in something long, it does a string overflow, and now I'm out of the game. And if I do groups, for example, you can see I'm back to the quote operating system. And to exit the system gracefully, you type in bye, and it tells me it took me 20 minutes to do this. Egad. Well, that's it. See you later.